Hello and welcome back to the On the Slab Horror Show, the show that we bring to you each and every Friday night. OTS regular Ted, why do we do this on a Friday night?
Friday night is horror night. Well, at least it was over here. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not for everyone else, but for over here, horror night.
But as it says, OTS regular Ted, how are you?
Oh, not too bad, yeah. Bit of a strange film here.
This was the first released horror of the year. It got released on the 4th of January. Well, at least I think it was the first one anyway. It was definitely the first one that I seen was Night Swim. It was the crossover between Blumhouse and Atomic Monster.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they picked this up at like a film festival somewhere. It won some film festival stuff. Two, 1 year or 2 years ago, I can't remember, and it got picked up to be made into a feature length, which was pretty cool.
I mean, I thought they done well with the casting for this. Wyatt Russell is just electric in most things he's doing these days. It's receiving a lot of shit, but I'm not sure why. To be honest, I quite enjoyed it. I thought he was very good. Now I'm gonna butcher the young girl's name in this. Amelia Hofferley. Hofferley.
Yeah, I can't
Uh,
pronounce her surname
I
either,
don't
but
know.
she
I
she was
thought
very
she
good.
was brilliant.
Yeah, I
Now
actually
I
I
thought she was about 12.
well, I think she's meant to be like 14, 15 in this,
She's
isn't
like
she?
21 or something.
Yeah, but that's always the case. They're always a bit older than that. But I think like they always aim for them to be around that age, don't they?
Yeah, something like that. I thought Kerry Condon as the mother was brilliant.
Uh,
Garvin Warren as the young lad
yeah, he was
was very
that,
very good.
and I said that to you before you watched it. I said like, um, obviously Wyatt Russell steals the show in this. Like he's the main character and things like that, and he was brilliant. But I said it to you. I said the son in this like steals the show. He plays his part so well. Like
Yeah, and I mean, like, it can't be easy. I know they're actors and that's going to be their life, but that young kid's still going to school. He's still learning his craft. But at that young age, to be able to do it, put in a performance like this in a horror movie, nonetheless.
yeah, it's just how timid he was about everything. Do you know, like he played he played the
The,
part of like someone who was ashamed of themselves for something that wasn't necessarily their fault. Like, because obviously, his dad is a famous baseball player. The sister,
diagnosed with MS.
yeah, but the sister is also an athlete and stuff. Like, she goes to the swimming, obviously, in this, but like before that, she'd played baseball and things like that. She was a student athlete, and he just, sports were just never his thing. And he played it so well that he never felt connected to the dad at all. Now they went with the trope of him being a real like a real mama's boy, but
Yeah.
I think that worked really well. Like that suited this film really like right down to a T.
I thought it was quite good because obviously you can see the disconnect, and obviously the dad's not kind of been there for a lot of it anyway. So having that connection to the ma was very smart, very smartly wrote into the script.
Yeah,
But then you can see him paying for the dad's attention.
yeah, he's always trying to get the dad, and then when the dad goes to see him at the baseball practice, and like he's not the best kid there, the coach's kid is better. Like you can see the dad is already more connected with the coach's kid than he is with his own son. Like
Did you
within that
notice
small interaction.
that interaction? And obviously during later on into the film when they're having the pool party, obviously
Yeah,
you can see the discontent in the son, but he's still trying to do the best he can to help people.
yeah. Like and that's the thing. The son is like he's not an athlete. Do you know what I mean? He's more
Yeah.
observant and he's clever and things like that. But that doesn't mean anything to him because it doesn't impress his dad. Do you know what I mean?
He gives off a vibe to me of, do you remember Shia LaBeouf in Disturbia? There's
Yeah,
that second when he gets put on house arrest and he's videoing everything out the window, and it's all camera work and him just kind of watching everything.
yeah.
He gave
I
me that kind of vibe.
Yeah, I think he did really well in this. And the to step away from them, like the opening kind of scene of this film, I thought was
Oh fuck! I
brilliant
didn't see that coming.
because I was kind of like, oh, like I know Wyatt Russell is obviously like I knew Wyatt Russell was kind of the main guy in this, and I was like, okay, so obviously this isn't going to be the lead to this. Like this is obviously just an intro to the film, but like it starts off pretty quick. Like
Yeah, like I was sitting watching it, and obviously it starts off with the kid kind of wandering about the house and then into the pool, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
very
And
it
like,
reminiscent, wasn't it? You know, like
uh,
the little boat going down
the
the
boat, yeah, the
I
sinkhole or the drain pipe,
it goes down the drain and obviously in it, but in this it goes into like the little filter tank. Uh,
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, the filter probably the best way of putting it. Yeah.
yeah, like it's just it's so like it's obviously I picked it up as a little nod to that, and I would imagine it is if we ever got a chance to talk to the director and stuff. But it's just so smart the way it's done. Like,
Yeah, and they use it later on in the film, and they do some great trickery with that. Like I don't know about you, but if you ever go swimming, I was always when younger, I was always looking at them going, "I'm 100% getting stuck in if I put my hand near that."
oh, I never put my hand near it because I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, my hand's gonna get stuck in there. I'm not messing with that.
So yeah, that bit always kind of was like, ugh. But like I thought it was very well done. That opening scene, obviously the dark, and then the brother, obviously being there, and the man, that, and just that's it. Then it just cuts out to the next family coming in.
Yeah, and like you don't hear anything from them again for a good portion of the film, so you've no idea how long ago that is. Like that could have been the origin of it.
Yeah, it could
Or
have
it
been
could have,
100 years ago.
yeah. Now
Well, it couldn't have, but
it ends up being just the last family that was there. Do you know what I mean? Which is, you don't really. Oh, sorry, not the last family that was there because
there was another
uh,
one before that.
I think there's a couple of families in between them, but that's like one of the families that they're able to trace back to.
Yeah, well, I think I kind of when I picked it up, it's about 20 years later or so,
I was gonna say about 20, 30 years later, yeah, because
because the young fella is probably about 12.
yeah, and like I'd say he's kind of in his mid 30s to
Yeah,
like
but he's
early 40s, like
movement and stuff. So
yeah, like he's quite high up as well. Now, obviously, that's the wish, and like that's one of the big things about this film. And obviously, if people haven't watched it, like we are going to be giving a few bits of spoilers and stuff away here.
spoilers,
But like
spoilers.
the fact that the mother worked out that she could sacrifice one of her children for like ultimate success for the other child, and she sacrificed the child that was healthy for the
For the
child that was
sick one.
sick. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so like one, how would you even make that decision at all? But like she was obviously so attached to
The son.
the son that she gave up her daughter. And then in this situation, he Wyatt Russell's character is so attached to the daughter and his wife that he was going to give up his son. Do you know what I mean?
But see, I didn't find that so much that he was willing to give anything up. I think he became that possessed that it didn't matter who went.
And no, because he mentions it a few times where he's like he doesn't fit in with us. Do you know? It'd be better for him.
You
Like
know, I get that, but that's just a recorded thing because that's what someone else had said as well. So in one of the flashbacks, you see it, it's just better this way.
yeah, but that's the mother saying that to the
The
son.
brother,
Yeah,
yeah.
her son. But she'd made that choice. Now it doesn't really go into how you make that choice. I'm assuming that it takes and like the pool can like sense your inner feelings towards the people you love, and it takes the one that you love the least.
I took it in a way that it was the first person who broke the water. I know they mentioned that because obviously White Russell falls in when the cover's still on it.
Yeah,
So he got the wish, and his wish is obviously to be healthy.
yeah, but it's the first person to so somebody gets to make a wish, and he happens to be the one. But I think the person who gets to make a wish they have to sacrifice someone, and it seems like the pool kind of makes the decision for them. It's not them saying, "Oh, this is the person." It's which one do you feel the least connection to in your family, and that's the one the pool is going to take. And it seems like that's kind of what his theory was on it as well, because he's like he doesn't want it to be the daughter. He wants it to be the son. He very much wants it to be the son.
Yeah. I suppose, yeah. I never really looked at it that way. I just took it as he's kind of saying the same things that she said, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah, now it does change because eventually the story changes where it does try to kill the daughter and then it tries to kill the
I think it just
uh
tries to take anybody at that stage because it has to
yeah,
have its debt settled.
yeah, because he hasn't settled the debt. It is eventually just going right. We're just going to take somebody, and it was going to take him at one point when he had the kid up on his shoulders,
Yeah.
the baseball coach's kid, like when he had him up on the shoulders and stuff. So it is it's interesting, but it doesn't. I suppose that's probably the biggest negative for me is that it doesn't explain that little bit. But again, that leaves it open to your own interpretation, which can be quite good in films like this as well.
I think knowing Blumhouse and knowing the likes of Atomic Monster, I imagine there's going to be a prequel story to this somewhere.
It depends on how well it does,
I don't.
because as you said, it hasn't been received all that well,
Yeah, it's getting slaughtered
which
at the minute. But
I don't understand because I think it's fine. I don't think it's, you know, I don't think it's a great film. Like I'm not going to try and pretend that it's one of the best films I've seen or anything, but I don't think it's as bad as people make it out. And I think I said
at
this to
one
you
stage, it was the best
before.
2024 film you've seen.
It was at one stage both the best and the worst film I'd seen this year. But I said to you when I first saw it, and you'd read some of the reviews, and you were like, "Oh, people are slaughtering it. I don't think I'm going to bother." And I said it to you and the lads. I said, "No, honestly, lads, watch it, and I won't give away anything that's in it. All I'll say is that if this film was made in the 80s, uh, it'd be a cult classic and people would love it. If it was made in the 90s, people would have a lot more time for it. I think the reason people don't like it that much now is that this story is one that's been told before. Do you know, you have a
Yeah,
wish and you have to sacrifice someone you love, and I think that's where a lot of the hate for it comes from. And then obviously it doesn't rely on jump scares, which in modern horror tends to be what people rate as a good horror
yeah.
online. Do you know,
It has it
if it
has
has
a
jump
couple of
scares,
good
it
ones though.
has a couple of them, but it doesn't. The jump scares are quite they're quite
They're
sudden.
there. You know they're
Yeah,
coming. Yeah,
no, I think they're less that you know less that they're coming. In it's more just you know it's coming, but you know it's coming for so long you don't know when it's going to be, and it's not like a huge shock either. And even the ones that do come quite suddenly, it's more just a flash of an image. You know, like
yeah.
the kind of like old man's face in the pool. Like that's
That
meant to
was
be a
brilliant.
shock. It's meant to be a shock, but it flashes up too quickly for it to truly jump scare anyone.
Yeah,
So
and it's gone. Yeah,
you're just kind of like, oh, what was that? And then you see him again down in like the little drain pipe thing and stuff like that. So the jump scares don't hit that well, which I think is what a lot of people are knocking it for. But the story
yeah,
is, it's more it's not, yeah, it's not as psychological as I'd like it to be. I think they could have gone a lot more psychological if they weren't going to go jump scare here. But I think it was a fairly even mix. Like it's not the best film, but it's definitely not as bad as people have made it out to be. I didn't think.
yeah. I mean, I know we were talking off air. Like we checked it, it's rated 21% on Rotten Tomatoes for the critics bit, and 42% for audience, which is probably about fair. I don't agree with the 21%. I think it's filmed much better than a 21% movie should be. I think the script was pretty good.
Yeah,
Um, the acting was good, to probably better than good.
yeah. I think everyone did their role very well. Do you know what I mean? And I think there was a lot of little bits in it, like when Wyatt Russell is he's working himself back up to being able to go back to play baseball again, and we know he's already come back from one major injury in the
Yeah.
past, so this is his second one. And it looks like so he has like a home video out of him and the kids playing, and then it looks like he's kind of recorded over that, um, in like a promo video to send out to these baseball teams, and the son sees it. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of it's overriding one of the few good memories the son seems to have with his dad. Do you know what I mean?
Baseball is just his
Yeah,
goal,
like,
really. It's not about living
but
life with the kids. It's
that's what a lot of like and a lot of famous sports stars and stuff have said this, that like once they can't play anymore, once the game's passed them by, it is very hard for a lot of them to move on.
yeah,
Like, it's why you see a lot of these, like a lot of sports stars kind of not anymore, but like you used to see it, a lot of them used to just get heavily into like drugs and gambling and stuff like that because they'd lost any focus in their life, because
yeah,
they'd spent so much of their life being focused on this one thing, and now that they've accomplished that and it's gone, they just don't know where to go. Thankfully, we're not seeing that much anymore, but that's clearly what happened here. This is a guy who's still meant to be in what's his prime years to play baseball, and he's had a
yeah.
second major injury that has kind of ruled him out from ever playing again,
Well,
and it's all he
MS is going
cares
to
about.
do that to you anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, and he clearly, it's the only thing he cares about is getting
Getting
back
back.
onto that. Yeah, like he stops caring about the family at all. Any of them, as long as he gets back there, that's all that mattered to him.
I think it's shot so well that obviously the pool is giving him the health back and everything's regressing. And you can see the first thing in his mind is, let's get back to baseball.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like the wife even says it to him, like maybe just take it easy, like just continue working, and he's like, no, like yeah, I think I can go back now immediately, and it's straight down to the kids' baseball practice, and he's straight up to swinging at the ball, and he seems to be better than he ever was, and things like that. And it's the only thing on his mind is I'm going to get back now. I'm going to be a star again.
As it says, the script was done very well to show that his selfishness to be a star again
Yeah.
has
Um.
given him no real desire to do anything with his kids. Yes, he throws like the party, he goes to this, that, and the other, but like he has no care in the world what they're doing.
Yeah. And the thing is that at times he seems like he does care about the family, but then the second he gets a chance at back at baseball, that's back on his mind, and it's all he can think about. And then it's like the wife will kind of get back to him and be like, spend some time with your son, like spend some time with your daughter. And he's like, yeah, yeah, no, I will. I definitely will. And then he's straight back out to the pool. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
Mm.
each time he gets into the pool, you know, it gets into his head a little bit more. Like the pool corrupts him as he goes along. Do you know what I mean? It takes
It,
that selfishness in him, and it, amplifies it.
yeah, it's making him think he's better and
Yeah.
better and better and better. Like as I says, I quite enjoyed it. It seems to be a mix of films. Like obviously the whole sacrificing your kid thing is kind of like My Sister's Keeper, where they have the baby to save the sister. Um, it's real weird actually because before I watched this, me and Zoe are watching Supernatural, right?
Mm.
And the episode we watched before I watched this was one where there's a wishing well, and your man Ted Raimi's in it, and he throws a German wishing coin into the wishing well, and it makes everyone's wish come true. And it's pretty much very similar to this: people
Yeah.
wishing for health and stuff, where and then there's sacrifices to be made in it. And I was like, oh,
Yeah. And like,
I literally just watched this.
yeah, and see, like it's a very old concept of, I will give you whatever you want, but in return, you have to give me, you know, your firstborn son, or, this, that, and like
Your soul.
you have to give me something that's going to, essentially corrupt your entire family. And that's kind of what happens here, because every family that's lived there has had some sort of accident where somebody has died in that pool, whether it's their husband, a kid, it doesn't matter. Somebody's died, but the families all seem to move away quite quickly. But they all seem to have been quite successful after moving away. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So whether all the families know that the reason for their success is that somebody in the family sacrificed another family member. Obviously, the old woman does seem to know it. She obviously looked into it and she found out, and that's how she was so knowledgeable on it. But even then, she's still trapped by the like spirit of the pool because you can see that the water in her house turns that like black kind of
yeah, and
tar
she starts
substance.
bleeding out.
Yeah, like it's still affecting her now. You know, she had to give up her daughter, and she basically just pretends she never had a daughter now,
Do you
because it's
think
just easier.
that scene obviously where she's talking to her and it's very, very grudge-esque, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Obviously,
what
she's of Asian descent as well.
I was gonna say.
Um,
It's very grudge, very ring. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you have, and
and
like
like,
it's similar to the ring. You have a certain amount of time to accomplish something. So obviously in the ring, you have 7 days till you die, but in this, it's you have X amount of time to sacrifice a soul
yeah,
to the pool.
or have an accident.
Yeah, and like most of them, like a lot of them could have been accidents. Like the son is told not to go into the deep end,
Yeah,
and
and then the coins get thrown in.
the coins get thrown in, which I also think is a great little bit because when you were younger, like as a kid,
Dive. Yeah.
that would be something, oh, it's so cool to dive down to the bottom of the pool, and you would get immersed and you would end up swimming out that little bit further than you probably should have. Now, most pools don't have a deep end anymore. Most pools are
One
flat.
level.
Yeah, they're just one level. But
That deep end was huge when you see him actually down cleaning it.
yeah, it is really deep. But the sun, is going for them. And at one point, so when I was watching it, I was like, okay, so obviously someone's thrown the coins in. Now, it could just be the pool and like the spirit or the ghost of the pool or whatever.
Mm.
But do you think it was that, or do you think it was the dad throwing them in?
No, I think it was the spirit when it happens because it's too early into it.
Yeah, see, that's what I was kind of thinking because I was like, it probably has to be the spirit, but then at the same time, I'd be willing to say, yeah, it was the dad, but he didn't realize it was him. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like the spirit had
Or when
taken
he
over
when he
his
went with
mind.
the black
Yeah, so
oils and
like
stuff.
later into the film, it becomes like really obvious it's taken over him. But earlier in the film, you could kind of be like, has it kind of possessed him a little bit, but not enough for him to realize it? Because then obviously the further you get into the film, he like grabs that child's legs and he's essentially trying to drown him. Then he's in the shower and they're trying to leave, and the black stuff starts coming out of the shower into his mouth, and then when they try to leave the house, it starts like he starts like choking up and stuff. So they have to go back to the house, and the house has tied them to it until they do something. And then the film progresses, and you can just see it in his veins the entire time, where he's essentially just trying to drown someone by the end of it. So I'd
Yeah,
wonder,
it's
is it him at the start, but just taken over, but without really realizing it's him? Because where the hell else would he be? Do you know what I mean?
he was in actually yeah, because he was in in the garage and he says, "Yeah, I'll be there now in a second."
Yeah, so where the hell did he go? Do you know what I mean?
And it makes sense actually. I never looked at it that way. I just put it down as the spirit because obviously you see the ma when she's swimming and you see the spirit come out of the wall thing and then just
Yeah.
disappear back in.
I liked that the
Um,
pool kind of got turned upside down as well. Do you know what I mean? When the daughter's in it, she's like looking up at the top of the pool from the bottom. Like when she starts
underneath,
drowning,
yeah,
she's like looking up and it's a little pinhole basically. And
yeah,
she gets out.
very Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yeah.
like with the tub.
Yeah, like it changes their perception, and then the little girl from the original family helps the mother get out when she dives down and stuff.
So
She's
she was the
like,
only one.
it's
Yeah, she seems to be the only good one, really, doesn't she?
yeah, like I suppose. See, that's the bit I don't really get because like she is it just because she was so young, she was so innocent, and she doesn't understand that she was sacrificed? Is that why she's not angry?
Yeah, I think that's what that is. Yeah, Like the rest of them must have known whether people have held them in and drowned them, or
Yeah.
like
See, yeah,
hers looked like a legitimate accident.
yeah, hers could like you could have believed it was an accident, and then obviously some of these ones like the pool cover going over to
Yeah.
try and stop people getting out, and then like the
How
daughter
good
getting
did
like
that look
dragged
though?
down. Oh, the whole thing looks brilliant, and then like how difficult, and like they set it up prior to that, where the son was struggling to reel it back with the dad earlier in the film. So
Yeah, they
they're
set it up
showing that
nicely, didn't they?
yeah, they're showing that it's not perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like that it's not a nice easy role. That there is a bit of a like a stick on it.
Yeah, that was my favorite scene in the whole movie. That where the daughter's on the diving board and she's trying to bring in the Lilo, and then you just see that face there,
Mm,
and then she obviously goes in, and then the pool cover comes out.
yeah. Oh, it's I think the drowning scenes are done quite well. I think they're quite claustrophobic as well, which
Yeah,
if you were in that situation, you would be panicking, and I think they did that quite well as well.
the only one I didn't really like was when the ma was attemptedly
When
going
she
down. You know what I mean?
when she went down to save the son.
Yeah, it was just kind of like it was like she was Michael Phelps.
Yeah, it kind of that's where like they kind of struggled to end this film, and then the ending I felt was quite predictable. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
oh yeah,
like he's going to sacrifice himself. Um, if it was me and I was directing it, I think I would have changed that.
and have the
Uh,
ma do it.
yeah, exactly. I think I'd have had the ma go. Like he's clearly saying somebody has to die, and like he keeps saying it to the wife and the daughter. He's like, he doesn't fit in with us. Like it's best for it to be him. I think it would have been a better show if the mother had let the spirits take her, and then he feels remorse because it's all on him that this has happened. Um, but
Unbeknownst to him, though,
yeah, unbeknownst to him, but like I think him sacrificing himself kind of it's a bit
it was the
predictable.
cheap way out. Yeah,
Yeah, and then they fill in the pool, which also means that now nobody's wish was fulfilled. Do you know what I mean? Because the person whose
yeah.
wish it was granting was his. And you said earlier, is it the person who first goes into the pool? But he's also the first person to spill blood in the pool. When they're cleaning
Yeah,
it
he
out,
disturbs the water. Yeah,
when he's
that's a nasty looking gash too.
they're cleaning out the drain, yeah, and then that just heals up immediately. And I think I kind of thought maybe that's where his bond to the pool really came in.
Maybe, yeah, that would make sense because obviously he falls in the pool and then it gets drained. So someone had to have gone in to drain it anyway.
Yeah, and then he's down there, he's cleaning it out, cuts his hand up like really badly.
And then all
Uh,
of a sudden, straight away, it starts to blacken up.
yeah, it just starts healing up and stuff. But that like that's him, like that's his sacrifice to the pool. Like here you go, here's a blood sacrifice to start the ritual or whatever, and then it starts taking over his mind. Do you know what I mean? Like has it gone
Yeah,
out swimming in the middle of the night and everything as well? Do you know what I mean? Like he's
so did
swimming
she.
the first night she swims in it late, but then after that he's out there like every night swimming in it. Um,
Like a drug to him.
yeah, like he can't, he feels so good when he gets into the pool that it's just like it's part of him now.
He makes a very good point to that as well. He's like, it's weightless.
Yeah, and then when he, so like in theory, if the son had died, they would have had to sell the house, right? Do you know what I mean? Because they're not going to continue
Yeah.
living there. But they'll move. Like the theory is that they'd move on from that. He'd be famous, and they'd all just kind of pretend the son never existed. Because that's what the older woman did. She fully pretends she didn't have a daughter at all.
Yeah, it's real weird. I was fully expecting her, that scene with her, that she'd turn around and have some kind of demon face or something.
That's what I was kind of thinking. I was kind of thinking, is she like, how did she know about this? Do you know what I mean? And they
And
didn't
she knew
really
about the
delve.
dark water and stuff.
Yeah, like she didn't delve in. They didn't delve into that too much. Now, as you said, that could just be them saving it for the chance to do a prequel or something.
Yeah,
um, which I don't know if they'll get. But as I said to you when I first watched it, and you lads hadn't seen it, I think this isn't terrible. I think it's just a lot of
it's
this
gonna
stuff
be
has
middle.
been.
It's gonna be middle of the pack.
The problem is a lot of this stuff has been done. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of this story has been done before. There's been very similar stories. This one doesn't stand out in any particular way. Like the acting is very good in it, the cinematics are very good, but it doesn't stand out in any way over ones that would have happened in the past.
No,
So for me, yeah, like if this had been made earlier, like in the 80s or something, I think it'd be still lauded as a great film. But because it wasn't, people are now just turning on it completely. Because nothing can just be okay anymore. Do you know what I mean? No film can be okay
well,
anymore. A film is
I
either
mean, it,
the best film in the world or it's crap. Do you know what I mean? There's no more middle ground when people are rating things. They can't just say, no, it was good. Like,
for me, like obviously it's the first collaboration between Blumhouse and Atomic Monster. It's not a bad run at it, really.
no,
Like people are going on, oh, it's not going to be a good collaboration. It's not going to this, not going to that. I have a feeling these movies are going to get a whole lot better that comes from those two. People saying Blumhouse are on a stinking run. Probably not. Blumhouse have
no.
been solid nearly all the way through.
I think so, yeah.
And a lot of people aren't liking certain movies. That's fine. Um, but you can't say that they've been on a bad run just because you don't like the movies. They're making money.
Yeah. But like, when's the last time you've heard someone tell you that someone other than me, I suppose, because I do quite a lot. Like I'm very rarely saying that something's terrible. But like, when's the last time you've read online or heard anything online of a film being, yeah, that film's all right. Do you know what I mean? Films are either that was classed one of the best films I've ever seen, or no, that film's terrible. There's no more middle ground of just, yeah, it's good. Like people don't have that anymore. Films are either brilliant or they're crap. Like you have to have a hot take. There's no just, yeah, it was good, nothing special. Like you don't get that from people really anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what you get with us. It'll be say it as it is. Like we're not what it is. Oh yeah, it was amazing. It was awful. Um, like
Yeah, now listen,
I'm
if
just
I think
there with it. It's middle of the pack.
if if I watch something and I think it's awful, I'll slander it. Like if I think it's awful, I'll tell you I think it's awful. If I think it's brilliant,
We've had that before.
yeah, if I think it's brilliant, I'll tell you it's brilliant. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I thought Black Phone was phenomenal.
Oh, best
But
movie I've seen that year.
do you know what I mean? But I'm not afraid to say that something was just fine. Like I enjoy something, yeah, that's fine. Am I going to watch it again? Yeah, if it comes on, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. But if it was on, yeah, I might watch it again. There doesn't need to like not everything needs to be on one end of the scale, is what I'm saying. Which is what you see a lot now when you see ratings for films. People are just that was crap or that was brilliant. There's no yeah, it was fine.
You answered my upcoming question there again. Would you go and watch it again? Me personally, I think I will watch it again just to see if there's something else that I missed.
Yeah, it's not something I'm going to be rushing to go watch again. But I
No,
mean, when it comes up on a streaming service and I have nothing else to like, not that I have nothing else to watch because there's always something to watch because there's so much stuff out there. But when I'm kind of just in the mood for something I've seen before and I'm like, oh, I'll just put on something here just to kind of have on in the background a bit. They'll probably like this will probably be it. Like, will it be this year? Probably not because there is a lot out there. But like
yeah,
next year, yeah, maybe I'll pop that on and I'll give it a watch again. Do you know what I mean? It's not something I'd be actively like, I am never ever watching that again. Do you know what I mean?
I'd be the same. If it's on, I'd watch it. If I was in someone's house having a few drinks and it was on,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen it. Decent movie,
I'm
doing
not
the
gonna rush
job.
out and tell people to watch it. I said it to you lads to watch it because we were gonna
It
do
is
a
what it
review
is.
because we were gonna do a review on it.
Yeah,
But
that's right. It is what it is for us.
yeah, like I said to you guys to watch it, but I wasn't like I didn't tell you, oh, it's incredible. I fairly much told you, it's like, yeah, I didn't
It's middle of the pack.
like it's
I
fine.
mean,
Now,
let's
he,
be honest. In terms of horror,
Dynamo hated it. Dynamo hated
yeah.
it. Like he thinks it's terrible. And it's
Um,
unfortunate that he wasn't able to make this episode to give that opinion, like to give his reasons and stuff for that. But like he just thinks it's terrible, whereas I was like I didn't go into it with huge expectations, and maybe he did. Maybe he had higher expectations going in, which does affect the film. Do you know what I mean? Because I said it wasn't that bad, so maybe that influenced him a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know that whole thing of going in with high expectations. Now, for me, when I heard the collaboration was coming between Blumhouse and Atomic Monster, I was like, this is gonna be top end. And then obviously the bad reviews started, and I shouldn't have read them, and I knew I shouldn't have read them. Um, and it kind of knocked me going. Well, and I was like, I'll do it for the podcast sake. I'll watch it now. I'm glad I did because
But
obviously I enjoyed it. I'll put it this way: like it's not going to be near the bottom of the worst horrors I watched this year by a
I would
mile.
I wouldn't say so. But again, if you hadn't read those bad reviews and you'd gone in with the expectation of this is going to be brilliant because it's this collaboration and you have really high hopes for it. If you'd gone in with that, it might have swayed your opinion to being this is terrible. Do you know what I mean? The fact that you had read opinions of it saying that it was really bad lowered your expectations going into it, which might have
Yeah,
been why you were kind of like, yeah, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as people are making it out. Like we try not to let those things affect us, but when people tell you something's really good, you go in with a high
subconsciously it's
expect.
going to happen anyway.
Yeah, you go in with a high expectation. So like you're kind of better. Like so when people talk about, they don't want to be given spoilers. I like to me, I don't want to hear, oh, it's this is the best film ever. Like when someone's telling me about a film, yeah, you should watch it. It's good. That's good enough for me, you know. Or yeah, don't bother. That's really really bad. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to hear that it's amazing to go and watch it because if I get every film is going to be amazing, if everyone says this film's amazing, and then I go watch it and it's not, I'm eventually just going to be like, yeah, that's not that good. That's not good. Oh, that one was really good. Uh, but that one wasn't. And then it'll affect how I feel about that film. Do you know what I mean? Because I'll have
Yeah.
gone in with an expectation.
Well, let me put it to you as we close out. On our slab rating of five, what are you going for?
I think I'd go with 2.5. Like I think it's really middle of the pack. Like it's not
Yeah.
three, it's not two. It's exactly just in the middle.
Some good special effects to an extent. As I said, good script writing, good acting.
Yeah,
It was shot very, very well. I'll give
yeah.
them that.
But
Um,
that's the thing. It's a
two and a half for me.
It's a Hollywood horror. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, two and a half for me. Now, what I'm gonna do is we don't normally do it at the end of things, but the one I'm looking forward to now, obviously, there's quite a gap between the next couple of big horrors coming out in the cinema. But Baghead is the next one that I want to see.
Baghead, I think, has been released now. I think it either comes
Yeah,
out it either came out
it
last week or it comes out this week. I can't remember.
yeah, it
Um,
looks unreal.
I am
But
looking
it's
forward to
gonna be
that.
one of those movies. It's gonna be one of those movies. I think that again, like this, you're either gonna love it for the type of movie that it is, or you're gonna absolutely slaughter it
Yeah,
because it's not the type of movie you like.
there's quite a few really big films coming out this year in terms of horror,
Mm.
or the expectation is that they're going to be very good. But they come out a bit later in the year.
I think
Um,
Ghostbusters is the next one, is it? In March, middle end of
Ghostbuster,
March.
yeah, Ghostbusters. We obviously have Beetlejuice 2. Um,
That's late in the year. Yeah, that's no, September.
yeah, that's September. Now, I will say I have a feeling that that could go very well or very badly
Oh,
in terms of reviews because I think the original is quite well loved, and I think if people feel that this new one doesn't live up to the first one, they're going to annihilate it,
yep.
even if it's just kind of okay, or it'll be like Top Gun Maverick, and it'll be so good that people are like, this might actually be better than the first one. I think that's good. Like,
That's going to be the ultimate Marmite movie of the year.
I think so. I think it'll be very like that. There's obviously Terrifier 3 is due out this year, I think, or was due
Yeah,
out. I don't know if it will be
it's
now.
ju-
They've started the filming, so
yeah.
possibly,
Filming's at the time of recording. I think is a week in now.
yeah.
Um, what
Um,
else? There's loads. Saw 11 that's coming out mid-year.
Nostaferu's coming out.
Nosferatu, yeah.
or
That's
Nosferatu.
I know the king. I know the king is paying for that one.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh 2 is coming out.
I
Uh,
seen that, yeah.
don't really know what
But
to think about that
I'm
one.
not sure how I feel about that. Like having spoke to Natasha last year, obviously before it came out, and it came out and it got all the heat that it got. I don't know what people expect with that, but what I don't like really is they've taken Craig David Dowsett out as Winnie the Pooh and brought in a new Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. Now
Um,
there's a couple
but
out there that uh, they're like standalone films. One called Imaginary. That's one I'm. It sounds
I
quite good
can't
to
wait to
me.
see that. Yeah,
I'm looking
it looks
forward to
very
that.
Conjuring esque.
Yeah, and like it's a childhood imaginary friend
Yeah.
that she left
What
behind.
something Wadlow directed that. I was trying to work on, hopefully trying to work on getting him to come on the show. Jeff
Yeah.
Wadlow.
Then A Quiet Place Day One is coming out. Now I don't know how to feel about this because I think John Krasinski stepped away for this.
He's a
Uh,
producer on it, I think.
I think there was talk of him being a producer, and I think he stepped away from even that as well, which worries
Yeah.
me a little bit because that was his baby. So why did he step away? Um,
Sometimes it's just right to do, that kind of way.
so sometimes it is, but then it worries me sometimes when I see someone who created something that did really well going, I actually don't want anything to do with that. Yous have gone a different
Lay
direction that I
off.
don't agree with. But I'll still give it a chance because I loved the first Quiet Place and I loved the second one as well. Like
First
I
one's brilliant.
I was a really big fan of the films, so I'll give it a chance. But there's a lot of films like that coming up this year.
I
Um,
think Ghostbusters, as I said, Baghead and Ghostbusters are the next two big ones, really.
yeah, then Maxine I think is due this year as well.
When? It was
Um,
that they were all supposed to come out in 1 year at one stage. Now we're,
yeah, well, obviously that was
yeah, there's other
the
issues
strikes and things.
outlined there.
Yeah, but there is a lot of films lined up to come out, and they're all the Hollywood ones, and there's going to be loads on places like Shudder. Netflix tend to put out a few ones every year as well. And now some of them are kind of like more family friendly ones.
Yeah,
But some of them have been very entertaining. Do you know what I mean?
we have a Ghost last year,
Yeah, that was
uh,
surprisingly good.
and Anthony Mackie and um, David Harbour.
Yeah, surprisingly good. Um,
I
yeah,
think I think we could probably talk all night about what's coming out. We'll leave
yeah.
that for a
It's
different show.
just going to be a good year, is what I'm like, kind of what I'm saying. I think that we could be in for another good year of
I
horrors.
think the way I think when I sent it into the picture into the group chat there a couple of weeks ago, it looked like there's one big Hollywood horror every month throughout the year,
Yeah.
at
So
least.
it could be a good year overall for this, and there'll always be a couple of series as well that are probably going to pop up
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
likes of Netflix and stuff as well. So we might end up
But
catching them as
what I
well.
will say, is, if Maxine comes out this year, there's your horror of the year.
It could very well be, yeah.
I mean,
With Scream
the other two
7,
are phenomenal.
yeah, well, with Scream 7 kind of on the kibosh at the moment, like that was meant to come out this year as well. So like if that
Yeah.
had come out this year and Maxine had come out, I think they probably would have been duking it out for the top
Well, I
gun.
don't know. Actually, thinking about it, if Saw 11 can do what Saw 10 done,
Yeah, I
that's
saw
got to
it.
be right up there.
Yeah, obviously Beetlejuice could be up there as well. But yeah, as you
Yeah.
said, we could go on about this all night, which has happened many times in the past off
Yeah.
air. So I suppose
And on air,
yeah, we should probably wrap it up there. We've given our rating of
two and a
two
half.
point five for each, and I think that's
Yeah.
relatively fair. Probably drag
Yeah.
it down to two, considering we know the Dynamos is not going to be that high either. So I'd say
I'm imagining he'd have given it a zero,
I think he'd still have given it something, but it wouldn't have been that high.
a one maybe, or half a star maybe.
Yeah, and then I don't know what King hasn't watched it
I
as
don't
far
know
as
if
I
he's
know
seen
yet.
it yet.
I don't know if he's got a chance to watch it yet. So I'd imagine if you say 2 stars, like one and a half, 2 stars between the four of us, it'll probably
Yeah.
be around where it ends up.
Well, for the two of us that are here right now, it's getting a two and a half out
Two
of
and a half
five,
from
and
us.
that's the
Yeah,
official rating for the show. And That's how I'm closing out the show. And I'll do it the same way I do it every single Friday night, folks. In the words of the great George A. Romero, stay scared.